Hello everybody. So here's the answer to today's quiz. So the first picture shows a 38-year-old male with asymptomatic multiple soft nodular lesions over the left side of the face since 4 years. Started as 2 to 3 lesions and since then it's slowly progressed. You can see the picture here showing these multiple soft nodules. Okay. Now, clinically, we thought these may be some sort of cysts. We didn't suspect the diagnosis actually because unilateral, only on one side, thought maybe some sort of epidermoid cyst cylindromas or something like that. But histology was a surprise. So here are the histological images. So the histological images show, so you can see the lower part, you see a sort of and sort of a tumor here composed of spindle cells occupying the entire dermis. Okay, it's a relatively well circumscribed nodule that we sort of punch biopsied out. But you see that the lesion is merging imperceptibly with the surrounding papillary dermis here. Mild, acanthosis with retiridge elongation is present, but that is just a reactive change. On higher power, you're seeing these sort of spindle cells with a lot of spindle and epithelioid cells with a lot of eosinophilic cytoplasm. Okay, so and the cells, the other feature of this particular tumor is that the cells are arranged haphazardly. There is no particular pattern to it. You see here the direction of cells, some are this way, some are that way. There is no particular direction, though in the periphery, they seem to be sort of streamlined in one direction. Here they are in different directions. Now, one of the characteristic features of this particular tumor, and this is how I identify this or differentiate it from another similar entity, is these particular cells which look like fried eggs. These are mast cells, and you can see some of the granules here as well. So these mast cells are not specific for this particular tumor, which is a neurofibroma, but can occur in any tumor where there is a bit of mucin or myxoid change. So we don't know why mast cells like mucin, but whether they are involved in secretion of mucin or whether they just like mucin and they come to places where there is mucin, but this is a particular feature of any skin tumor where mucin is present. Okay. So yes, these mast cells, when they are present, I use them as a differentiating feature to differentiate between neurofibroma and neuroma. Now, I'll discuss neuroma later on, but this is essentially neurofibroma with, and the mast cells are a clue, and there is a bit of mucin. You can see here this loose connective tissue. There is a bit of mucin there that is suggestive of mucin when you're seeing this loose connective tissue on H&E. Often you may not see the bluish strands, but yeah, there is mucin there. So what best describes a histological picture diagnosis? So this is a higher part of the same lesion. I'll show you here. These are sort of wavy nuclei, S-shaped wavy nuclei, typical of neural cells. In neuroma, the cells tend to be much more spindly. These are actually Schwann cells, which are usually present in neurofibromatosis. You see fibrocytes, Schwann cells, and perineural cells. All these three are present in neurofibroma. These S-shaped cells are typical of sort of Schwann cells that we see here, and these are of neural origin. Some of them are not so S-shaped, some of them more epithelioid, but yeah, you can make out that the distribution is sort of haphazard, they're not following a particular pattern. So I've given you 4 options. One is a histological picture of dermatofibroma, the other is a histological picture of neurofibroma, the other is of neuroma, and the other is of a so dermatofibroma, neuroma, and the other is of a leiomyoma. Now, how do you differentiate between these? I will explain in a second. So here is a typical histological picture of leiomyoma. So what you're seeing here is bundles of what appear like muscle cells, lots of pink cytoplasm, and you see these in bundles. Okay, so this is typical of a leiomyoma. Now you can appreciate the bundles much better, and on cross section they also appear slightly vacuolated, sort of vesicular. You can see here, and this is a typical picture, and you see some clefting in between the muscle bundles. That is also quite typical. What you see on higher power are these cigar-shaped cells with blunt ends. So you see the ends are quite blunt. Okay, so this is a typical cigar-shaped nuclei of leiomyoma. But what is characteristic is that the cytoplasm is much more than the nucleus. So the nuclei are very few, but the cytoplasm is much more, and this is typical of muscle cells. All right, and this is another example of the same. And they're all going in one direction. They're not haphazardly arranged. In contrast, this is a dermatofibroma. Here you see a sort of storiform whorling pattern, and you see that the cells are infiltrating into the fat as well slightly, but if the infiltration is much more deeper, then you have to suspect dermatofibrosarcoma protuberans. But in ordinary dermatofibroma as well, some amount of fat infiltration may be seen in the deep dermis. That is okay. What is more typical of dermatofibroma is this sort of what we call collagen entrapment, where you see fibrocytes and fibroblasts engulfing collagen bundles which appear slightly swollen, and this is usually seen at the periphery of the tumor. This is typical of benign fibrous histiocytoma or dermatofibroma. Okay, and you see these are all histiocytes, sort of pale nuclei, epithelioids and spindle shaped pale nuclei. They're not as dark stained as in the neurofibromatosis case. Pale, sort of slightly more vesicular nuclei. They're not as dark stained as that. These sort of vesicular nuclei are also seen in leiomyoma, but there the cytoplasm is much more, I've shown, and they're sort of streamlined more, they're all in one direction. Here they're more haphazard, and sometimes you see a storiform pattern. You don't see this collagen entrapment in leiomyoma. There's no collagen at all, in fact, in leiomyoma. It's all muscle. This is a photograph of a neuroma. Solitary and circumscribed neuroma in the skin. This is what it looks like. It is a relatively well-defined, well-circumscribed lesion, unlike a neurofibroma, which is much more diffuse. So that's why this is called solitary and circumscribed neuroma. That's, if you remember the name in toto, you would remember what the histological picture looks like. And what is also characteristic is this sort of clefting in between the neural bundles, which you see in neuroma. This is usually absent in neurofibroma. So this is a neuroma where you see clefts in between the collagen bundles, in between the neural bundles. So nerve bundles, you see this is a nerve bundle, and this is separated from another nerve bundle by a cleft. And this sort of clefting is typical, okay? But it is solitary and circumscribed. Usually, this is the clinical differential that we usually encounter, histological differential that we usually encounter, and that is a very confusing thing for beginners in dermatopathology, and I am still confused, I have to say. Sometimes I try to break my brain trying to differentiate between neuroma and neurofibroma. Often it is not that easy as it seems, but I often use the clue of mast cells to differentiate between them, and if there is clefting, it's a good sign, but often clefting may not be seen, and this makes it very difficult to differentiate between them. Right, I think that's, we've discussed all the entities. Thank you very much. If you have any further questions, feel free to ping me. Thank you.